December 29th, 1963. The town is Chicago. The two best football teams in the world meet in a deadline to glory.
That was the first game I ever went to. My uncles couldn't have picked a better game for me to go to.
No one has played middle linebacker better than Dick Butkus.
In my opinion, the greatest defensive football player that ever lived. Gale Sayers once asked me who was better, me or Peyton. I said, if I need one game, I want you. If I need a season, I'll take Walter. He says, that sounds fair. Changed the whole culture of the Chicago Bears. Enjoyed working with the guy, enjoyed being friends with the guy, and he's a legend.
You're 100% right, but you're a pain in the butt.
I actually cried when they won the Super Bowl. I couldn't believe it.
I just have one thing to say. We all have bragging rights over the whole goddamn country.
Lovie Smith was a heck of a coach. I was not a Lovie Smith fan, but he made me a Lovie Smith fan. Matt Nagy sabotaged his career. Him and Trubisky had something good going. They made the playoffs twice in 4 years. He took his career, threw it in the dumpster, and now he's getting coffee for Andy Reid. I like the Bears for third place this year, but surprise us. 5 to 6 teams a year that make the playoffs are new teams that didn't make it the year before. Hopefully they'll be one of them.
Welcome everyone to Raw Jewelers Presents the Mike North Advantage. Mike, since around the middle of the third quarter, I started to think about you, and I had this question. Have you ever witnessed such a low point in a Bears season as we are witnessing right now with the 2024 Bears? And I know you want to say hi to everybody and so forth, but I was dying to ask you that question yesterday, and I'm dying to hear your response.
Well, first of all, I've been on a heroin trip for 24 hours. I'm just coming to now after that performance yesterday, and I'll be coming to. The doctors are outside if I should have a second type of situation, or what do they call it now, episode.
Yeah.
The first episode I watched was a team that basically was flat, a team that, quite frankly, didn't come out with any fire, a team that was out coached, a team that was out quarterbacked, a team that was out offensive line, out defensive line. Our punter had an average day. We didn't get, we didn't have really a lot of something that we could hang our head on. We had no hope, and I am just. But I'm not upset, and I'll tell you why. Because if you've listened to me since 1992, this is no surprise to me. It shouldn't be a surprise to any of the older Bear fans. I think it's the younger fans I'm hearing it from, the fan base. Fields is great. Caleb, they're ruining him. No, Caleb Williams can't play right now. I mean, you could say whatever you want. And we'll talk about a lot of what the media has to say in our media segment. Right now, he can't play. And I don't know how long 52 other guys are going to stand around and watch an offensive line that doesn't fully protect, but an offensive line where yesterday I counted 5,000, up to 5,000 8 times out of the attempts, 1,000, 2,000. So the nonsense that he doesn't have time, which Daryl Johnson echoed throughout the telecast to his announcer, Albert, who apparently if there's a pass rush, it's always on the offensive line's fault. But there's no doubt the offensive line sucks. Caleb sucks. We gave up defensively. We look horrible. I mean, nobody's talking about that. Everybody was going to hang their hat on the defense. Remember? All we need. We're going to win over 7 games. Believe me, I know people that took the over 8.5. Mm-hmm. I know Carmen DeFalco did. I know my friend George Paganakis did. And they're crapping now. because it doesn't look like there's a connection. You have Eberflus, who had another press conference, and I thought I'd read some tweets from other people today too, if I can, Aldo, because I think basically it's a universal thing now. With Mitch, it was never universal, and we're no better. And I know it's election season, but if you say you're better off now than you were 5 years ago when he was quarterback, you're lying, and you just want to prove you were right about something when you're wrong about it. But the team was better. Okay, the whole team was better. I mean, I think to be honest with you, our defensive secondary is good, but we had an intermittent pass rush. I mean, Drake May doesn't hold on to the ball, knows when to get rid of it. Those are two things that Caleb Williams hasn't figured out yet. And Fields before that, he would never throw the ball away. So he's got to get smarter. But then I hear Eberflus keeping them in. And I see Eberflus keeping them in when they're getting blown out. Give Bajan some snaps. And why do you want to hurt this kid? Why do you want to keep him in? And then I have to hear him say, well, he needs to work. You didn't play him in the preseason. You handed a rookie who's a prospect that I said at the beginning of the year. How come I saw that and nobody else did? Everybody expected Montana, Mahomes. He's no better than May. Here, I'll tell you who's having a better year than Caleb Williams. All of them. All the quarterbacks that were taking heaven except Pennington. And he's having a better year because he's probably better off not playing instead of maybe facing that. Because it's not just him. But I'm going to read some tweets here because I think it's important that we get everybody in on this. The Chief from Barstool. This is the worst spot the Bears have ever been. Nobody convinced me otherwise. They're doing less with more. Team stinks. Staff stinks. Stadium stinks. There's nothing they do well. Perfect. Okay. Basically, I said, the only tweet I'm going to read out, Jim Alexander said, the McCaskies don't run a business. This is at the Jim Alexander. They run a book club where everyone is friendly and it's part of the club. 100-year-old woman makes the big decisions. Let that sink in. From the top down, they are an unserious franchise. And I said she's one of the worst owners in football history. The whole family is, and there's no doubt about that. Take William Clay Ford and the Detroit Lions back in the day, but they're back. Another one, Greg Braggs. I don't know. You used to do this. I know we've had restrictions, Aldo. Maybe you can help me out.
Sure. Because
when I was on radio every day, they had to get their message out, and they would have a press conference, and it would be televised. Greg says, how about the Chicago Bears stream the Flus presser for their fans on a Monday for once? You know, the fans that fill that stadium, the fans that buy all that merchandise, the fans that talk endlessly on social media about them daily. Can the fans hear what the head coach has to say? What's your take on that? Because you've been down there. You covered the press conferences. And all of a sudden, I don't know, because the Bears don't have a dependable outlet. I don't know what the situation would be. You could stream that easily, but it seems like to me, they feel like they're in a club football team where they're just playing for themselves and they don't want to get the message out. And maybe because there is no message.
Well, that is true. There is no message. But Greg was wrong. That's
why I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, the press conference was live. They have had the last 2 weeks. It's been a Zoom. After the game in London, they did it via Zoom just for accommodation because they weren't at Hallis Hall and so forth. And then last week, they also did it on Zoom, and it wasn't live. But today, his regular Monday press conference, he did do live, and it was streamed on YouTube.
But you would say it's been inconsistent, right? The way that they used to have a press conference every Tuesday, I remember, or their day off was Tuesday. Every Monday, Ditka would be up there in front of like 100 people, and Lovey, and they had to answer
exactly. And the larger point is what you're touching on there is at today's press conference, there were no there was no new news in terms of what Matt Eberflus is going to do to improve the offense. He said yesterday after the game, we're going to look at everything and we're going to study it, and we'll decide whether we make some decisions. So we were expecting for him to say Shane Waldron has been relieved of his play calling duties, but he didn't even say that. And that, to me, is negligence on the part of the Bears coaching staff and the Bears organization.
You and I know that Caleb Williams hasn't hardly hit a deep ball all year. He also threw balls into the ground yesterday. He also rolls to his right and cuts off half the field. And he also, and I'll talk about the analysts who are finally catching on, holds the ball too long. Are we going to, for the rest of the Bears' career, every time we pick a quarterback and he sucks, blame somebody else? Instead of watching what I'm watching. I mean, I heard the Patriots ruined Mac Jones. I heard they ruined Mac Jones. No, he sucked. But they got a football coach, okay, who's a defensive coach, okay? He walks in there, and Drake May looks like a 3-4 year veteran. You know what I'm saying? And they don't look anything. I mean, they were a 2-7 football team, and they dominated our team.
They did.
So I was very disturbed by that. David Kaplan and Hood went off on Eberflus. His phone went out. I think he hung up.
I think so too. I really do.
And I would like to have said, if I was sitting next to Cap, he hung up. He hung up.
Yeah.
Now, if the phone went off, did he try to call back? Because I don't know. But they were laying him out.
Yeah, they were.
They were laying him out, and all of a sudden, boom! Yep. And I'm going, get another phone, Cap says. And I'm saying to myself, there's no phone that stays on when you push off. None. I've never had one. So I think he hung up on our flagship station because the Chicago Bears, I used to talk to the Bears like that every day. And finally somebody is really firing on the man in person.
Yes.
So good for him.
Good for David Kaplan. Yeah, that was a moment.
Right.
And people can find that clip, Mike, on the Barroom Network's X site or Twitter site, or you can just go over to YouTube and find it under ESPN 1000. That was pretty amazing. Great clip.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not being lazy about this. I'm reading these tweets because I've been alone on an island, as Eldo knows, for 5 years.
Yes, that's right.
I've been alone, and I stuck to my guns. I stuck to my guns on everything. And I'm happy to say I usually take my vindication on the rocks with a dash of vermouth. Okay? I need a straw. All right, now, how about Sean Abelsmath?
Yeah.
Y'all are idiots attacking a 100-year-old woman who has never been more than a bridge to her past. No, she's been hands off. She's been Teflon. She's been John Gotti. Like, no matter what. You want to know something? She was 60 when she bought the team, when she got the team. Don't give me the 100-year-old crap and quit hiding behind that, because she's still the principal owner. And if she can't handle herself, because I hear older people nowadays have trouble that are in high positions, that hurt the overall sense of things. If she's not, then you did a disservice, Sean. Or you did a service, because maybe, but I think as far as I know, she's competent. She just doesn't talk to anybody. She's a nice lady, but she sucks as an owner. And it says there, principal owner. He says, they're blaming George McCaskey. She's the principal owner on paper. I checked it out today. So she's still responsible. Reinsdorf's in his 80s. What are we going to say when he's in his 90s, still threatening to move to Nashville? As they go 50 and 110. I'm moving? Or you're too old? No, you're collecting the dough. It's your money that you're making. You've enriched your family because you were a member of the Lucky Sperm Club. So you are responsible as the owner of the Chicago Bears.
Mike, let me ask you this though.
Yes,
Excuse me for interrupting you.
I called you handsome.
Thank you.
I knew you'd like that. I like to bring a smile to your face before you physically and mentally attack me. Okay.
No, I'm not attacking at all. But she is 101 years old. So what do you think she is doing from a decision-making standpoint? Because it seems to me that's just an honorary title. She is the principal owner, but she could fire George, her son, like she did her other
that's
son.
the point.
Okay.
She does bad hires. She hires family. You know, that's bad. If you have an independent business, sometimes the worst you can do is hire family.
That's a very good point, Mike. Very good point.
Number two, if she's not there and she can't handle it, she should step down. Give some hope. But as far as we know, here's what I do know. The money goes by her. If you think they go out and George spends $50 million without asking Virginia, here's what I do know she can do. Ready?
Sure.
I know for a fact. Okay.
I love it. Jay Sanders says, wheel her down to the locker room and let her chew out the team. But I think you're more correct is that she could at least nod. Yes.
She was friends with the old lady from the Titanic.
That's right.
She said, let me get on the door too. We'll keep the homeless guy. We'll keep the homeless guy in the water. My God. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's absolutely, everything is absolutely insane. Now, I'm going to read a tweet that Aldo knows I like to bring familiarity to things because
yes,
my recall sometimes is very good. But it says here, and so when anybody says to me, you wanted this or wanted that, I know this. The scenario I wanted
right
was Cousins. Where are they at right now? First place?
Doing pretty good.
Or Russell Wilson. Where are they at? Yeah, they actually got better. I also wanted Harbaugh. How's he doing? 6-3 with San Diego with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Or Dion as head coaches. Draft another quarterback. Draft another quarterback and let him sit. This is Ryan Pohl's team. He's in charge. Let Montgomery walk to the Lions. Let Rose Smith, who's the top right now, one of the top 2 linebackers in football, he let Montgomery walk because they would have had to pay. But then they pay twice. They pay more for Swift. Okay, after they found out Herbert wasn't going to work out, they had to go out and get a running back. Okay, so they paid more to Swift than Montgomery wanted. And now he's going to make it to the Super Bowl, maybe. The same thing goes for other players. Roquan Smith, he was ready for his payday. Where did he go? He leaves. We didn't keep any of the players that were developed by the team, whether it was from Pace and Nagy or by these guys. What didn't you see about David Montgomery? What didn't you see about, well, here's where Virginia goes. They ain't paying nobody. This is like the White Sox times 2. Yeah. Who do they pay? I mean, can you imagine? But then I hear people today. The Bears are being pounded. The Bears are being pounded today. Mm-hmm. And I got to hear from New York. You got your own problems, sons. Yeah. You got your own problems. Rex Ryan, you know what he said today? They should put Dion in Dallas. They should hire Dion for that. Wouldn't be bad, right?
Really?
What's wrong, Rich? You don't want him on the Jets? What's wrong, huh? You afraid you're going to lose your luster? You tell us who to take as quarterback. You tell Dallas who to take as a head coach. And in the meantime, you guys are in shit up to your neck with a $150 million quarterback who can't play anymore. And you're dishing out advice to everybody else. And that makes me ill because Deion Sanders is available to all teams. And he'd be huge in New York, Rex. Mm-hmm. He'd be huge. But I suggested these things. And, I just thought that when they didn't want to pay, they don't want to pay. They didn't want Harbaugh. He's too powerful for the room, and the same thing for Dion. But, man, that stadium was empty yesterday, and the exodus that I saw in the second quarter is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, that speaks volumes, and they still haven't done anything. Still going to go by the status quo. Okay, and now they're getting what they have coming because I have something I'd like to read to you.
Sure.
I want to familiarize everybody with 2020. I think it's important because when you open your mouth and you don't have some recall, sometimes I have to have this stuff written down. In 2019, after the Bears made the playoffs in 2018, we didn't hear till 2021 or 20, when Nagy left that he wouldn't meet with Trubisky. That's fine. Trubisky ends up starting 2020. Okay. We win 27-23 against Detroit. Now, the funny thing about this is I keep hearing that the defense did everything. Mitch threw 3 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter to come from behind to win that game. Mm-hmm. He threw for 242 yards. Montgomery ran for 64. Then we beat New York. Trubisky 190 yards. Montgomery 82. Okay. We're down 10-6 at half. Or we're down not 10-6. We were down at half. We didn't look good. I think it was that score. We brought Foles in. He throws for 188 yards, and they win the game 30-26. And Mitch was out screwed because they replaced him after 2-0. I can't remember when a quarterback for the most part was replaced when they were 2-0 at halftime. That was a mistake. Nagy didn't like him. And then Foles loses to Indianapolis 19-11, threw for 188 yards. Then, 249. But Montgomery ran for 27. You see where I'm going here? Then he does beat Tampa Bay. Okay. Foles throws for 243 yards. But Montgomery runs for 29. So that's 56 yards in 2 games. Then against Carolina, they won 23-16. Foles, 200 yards. Montgomery, 58. Then they lost 6 in a row. Foles lost 4 in a row. He threw for 261, 272, 335, and 106, while the Bear running game stuck. And with all those yards, the points the Bears put up, 10, 23, 17, and 13. Okay. So what do the Bears do? We screwed up. Let's bring Trubisky back. So what does Mitch do? He comes back. They lose 41-25 to Green Bay. Mitch throws for 242 yards. But Montgomery runs for 103.
Yeah.
The balance. What happens? The next game. And by the way, 41. That's the defense. That wasn't Mitch. He put up 28. Then they lose to Detroit 34-30. Trubisky 267. Montgomery 72. And Vic Fangio sucked, if I'm not mistaken, in these 2 games. His defense sucked. But then guess what happens, Aldo? We beat Houston 36-7. We beat in Minnesota 33-27. And we beat Jacksonville 41-17. We lose to Green Bay. They give up 30. We give up 35 points, 35-16. But the fact is, after the Jacksonville win, that Mitch engineered 3 wins in a row, where we beat them 36-7, 33-27, and 41-17 before the playoffs. We put up 35 average points in those last 3 games. We lose in the playoffs, and then they let them walk. We made the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. Montgomery was a better runner. The team offensively was better. Foles turned out to be a bust. That was the beginning of the end. Then they get rid of him. And by the way, they brought in Fox was only his coach for 1 year, and then he lost his head coach. Nagy was only Fields' coach for how many? 1?
1 year.
And then they let him go. Is this the same thing that's going to happen? Eberflus is going to be this guy's coach for 1 year. We're going to do it 3 times in a row where the quarterback, after 1 year, gets a new coach. 3 years, 3 times in a row. You can't be that inept. You can't. It starts here and it goes down here. And let me also say, before we move on, and I take what Eldo's got, the bottom line is this team may not win another game. Remember when Ditka said that?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any faith that this team's going to win another game. I think the coaching staff thinks some of the players suck. I think some of the players know the coaching staff sucks. I think everybody looks up and they say, oh, and here's another thing. You don't mention Eberflus to me being fired unless you mention Poles. You never do that. And now Yurko's already fired on Poles, says he can't build an offensive line. Okay. He built it in his image, which was lousy. He's gone through the quarterback carousel. They got rid of Fields, who is better than Caleb Williams. And they've made a lot of changes that haven't worked. Okay. Poles and Eberflus go as a package. They came as a package as junior executives for the Indianapolis Colts. And where is Bill Polian? And they should leave as a package. There's no way I'm letting Poles stay here and giving this guy the scapegoat treatment. He doesn't have many players. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I knew this was going to be a fun show today because he lost Eldo. They lost Eldo. He lost his mind yesterday. And he basically said, and his video was great, who's better on this team? I said, I don't even know if we should do a show because it's almost impossible to fathom that with a coaching staff. And that coaching staff, I don't know what they're going to have to do, but they're going to have to figure something out. But I don't know what they can do now. They'll probably keep Eberflus till the end of the year. And if they're not replacing Waldron, they know they have a quarterback problem also. That's not registering certain situations. And the fans, I think when you listen to the fans, you're almost wrong unless you're the Bears, because you've never listened to the fans. You've never listened. And if you did, you'd be better off.
Yeah, I hear you. Mike, the whole Trubisky thing, though, why do you bring him up? Do you think that the Bears should have kept him?
Yes, because he was our guy. You go somewhere else, they took him mentally out. He's physically fit. He's not doing anything. Here's what I tell you I do, Aldo. You'll love this. Next year, they're both free agents. I don't know, Fields and Trubisky. I'd bring them both in. Have a three-man quarterback derby, but they don't have the balls to do that because you know what? They don't have the balls. But I know you don't want to go back to success. You'd rather be here.
But well, let me ask you this. So, what happened to Trubisky since he left Chicago?
Well,
he's had 4 seasons, right? And his record is 2-7 as a starter in those 4 seasons. Well, so and last year you gave up on Trubisky and said
because of his fire.
Because of his fire. So I don't
understand
why Trubisky back.
I don't understand when wins didn't become important to you. You'd rather be right about Fields. You'd rather be right about individual players.
No. Hold on a second. Attack the thought about not bringing Trubisky thought. Let's not make it personal. Let's not make it personal.
The question. I asked you if you're better off now or 5 years ago. And if you say now, then you know what? I'll lump you with the 70% that want to be right about every single thing. You were wrong about Mitch. You were wrong about Fields. You were wrong. Just look at the statistics. They made it to the playoffs. Just look at the wins. Just look at the wins, Al. That's all I'm asking you to do.
What else has?
I can't hear you, froze. Oh, I froze.
Coach, besides the defense.
There you go. I didn't hear you, Al.
Besides 95 roster.
What
won.
As far as you're saying, Trubisky's better than Williams right now. I don't care if he's playing or not.
Mm-hmm.
We had our success with him. The Bears, I keep saying we never found a quarterback. We had one. He threw 60. I just dispelled the defensive rumor that people have peddled. But here's the best part. Do you think the defense threw 64 touchdowns for the Bears? Or do you think Mitch did?
Mitch did.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why. You don't want to give him an ounce of credit. And since we've been doing this show, you don't, because you don't like him. It's okay not to like him. Okay. But I want to win. And wins come first. And we won with him. And we won with. Do you have a problem with Roquan Smith leaving, or did you like that?
Mike, first of all, please stop trying to put words in my mouth. I never said that I don't like Mitch Trubisky. He's a great guy. I said that he would be the ideal guy to marry my daughter.
You said
I didn't like because he can't see the field, Mike.
Are you serious?
He cannot see secondary, third.
How did he
receivers.
throw 64 touchdowns if he can't see the field?
Because the defense was good. He worked with a lot of half
The
fields because there was
defense-
that talent on the team because he built up the
So the
experience over
quarterback,
time.
with your world, the quarterback is the quarterback doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, how come we suck?
Again, you're putting words in my mind.
No,
in my mouth.
you're shitting on Mitch, and he was a Pro Bowler. He made it to the playoffs twice. I'm trying to figure out.
And what has he done? What has he done since then? What has he done?
He hasn't been able to play. He hasn't played.
Because he sucks.
What have you done? Wait, what have I done at the Score? What have you done at CBS? I mean, he does.
That has nothing to do. You're
No,
in
but
alternate reality.
He's a. I'll tell you what. He's better. Are you telling me he's not as good as Williams or Fields?
Right
Fields
now, right now, every quarterback in the NFL is better than Caleb. He's definitely having problems.
Fields was 10-29. And I hear from you. Well, what's did Mitch do? You tolerated Fields to be 19 games under 500, and you still told me this year you like him. I did too. It just didn't work out.
Are you telling me that right now, if you had to pick between one of those two guys,
I take
Fields,
Mitch. I don't know what he did wrong. What did he do wrong?
What has he done wrong? Well, the 2-7 record, the fact that he's been benched multiple times, the fact that he had no fire, the fact that he's given up on his career, he doesn't want to be a starter. He
makes more money than the Bears starter.
You set this yourself.
He makes more money than the Bears starter, Aldo.
That doesn't matter to me.
He's going to be holding the clipboard because Nagy was stupid. You're basically legitimizing everything that's happened. Okay. We're better off now. I stand corrected. We're better off now than we were 5 years ago.
Did I say that?
I asked you if we're better off now than we are 5 years ago, and I'm still waiting for an answer.
Okay, well, here's the thing. With the exception of the quarterback position, yes, we're better off. And the offensive line, I'll say that. Yes, we're better off. We're better off at the wide receiver position. Okay. We're better off at the running back position. We're better off at every defensive position. We're better off as the punter, the field goal. Yes, all of them.
So Allen Robinson, who caught 212 balls in 2 years, and then when they changed quarterbacks, had 67. Mm-hmm. Who threw the 200 to him, and who threw the 67 to him? Period. And how's his career going? He was good with the Bears. That's another guy I keep missing. I didn't even want him, and you convinced me. And all of a sudden, he's catching 100 balls from Mitch 2 years in a row. And you know what I hear? It's the defense. It's the defense. Who threw the 200 balls to him? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Mitchell Trubisky threw those passes, and I'm not trying to take away any of his successes. What my point is.
What have you been doing for 5 minutes? I asked you, are you better off 5 years ago?
Let me answer the question. Okay. Right now, there's no way Mitchell Trubisky should be a starter in the NFL.
Oh, my God.
The limited amount of success he had still did not disprove the fact that he cannot see the field, the fact that he can't complete throws more than 10, 15 yards downfield, not at any high rate. He's playing just as bad as Caleb Williams.
He's not playing. He hasn't played, but I'll tell you this. Thank God you weren't Sam Darnold's coach. Because, you don't think there's anything like reclamation. You think once a guy sucks or once you don't like him, he's never going to rise above it? Sam Darnold has proved everybody wrong. I didn't even want Mitch. I wanted Watson. That would have been a huge mistake. Because he wasn't Mahomes. That's why he paid the price. Well, Williams is not. Jaden Daniels. What do you think of that pick? Do you think that was a better pick? And should Poles and everybody else take a beating for not even dangling? Poles for not even trying to see if anybody was interested in trading for Caleb, moving down. Because you knew what was going to happen, Al. The Bears were going to make the first pick. And then everybody else was – and did anybody else say, please let us have Caleb Williams? Nobody said a word. Washington took Daniels. Denver took Nix. And these guys are all settled in, and we're the only team that doesn't have anybody settled in. Why does Cole Kmet all of a sudden catch 3 passes in 4 attempts and then disappear for the rest of the game? Now that's Waldron. That's what I'll tell you. You're right. Absolutely right. And I guess the easiest guy to blame on offense is the offensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I got to tell you, I just think, don't you think like we're 5 years away?
Well, no, I think that once the coaching staff has changed, it could potentially get a lot better. And maybe Caleb is going to be the biggest bust in NFL history. I cannot.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will. That I won't think he will. I will not say that about the young man. But the young man, 30% of his passes at USC, he had 3.5 seconds or more to pass. And I've said this. Only the Bears would try to pull this off, folks. Only the Bears would try to pull this off. Draft an Ohio State quarterback, draft a USC quarterback, and come to a team that's never developed for the most part a quarterback. And that's what we did. I mean, I see veterans leading teams. Stafford, Russell Wilson, Cousins. I mean, Aldo and I would have rather seen that instead of just bitching and moaning to each other about this thing.
So let me ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
If Jaden Daniels was the Bears quarterback, so isn't that
You're
part
right,
of the
Al.
problem?
No, Al, I'm not going to walk into that one. You know what? That would be you'd be ready with the right boom. You know, I think what Mitch Trubisky for 4 years did is akin to what Marino did with the Dolphins. They actually put up decent numbers with this outfit. But anyway, we got to move on to the next one.
Yeah, before we move on, I want to shout out Hector Zambrano. He makes a $5 donation to the Barroom Network. Name another Bears quarterback that has more fourth-quarter comebacks than Trubisky's 7, including the 3 in 2008.
You know what? And I'll tell you something. He made one of the comebacks. Elmo was right about this. Kyle Fuller made an interception, but Mitch threw the touchdown. Yeah, him and McMahon. Look, I don't know if we could ever go back. I don't care. But I see other quarterbacks. I mean, I'm watching this Sam Darnold guy. And if you have a team, first of all, if you're on a lousy team, but I thought Caleb, the talk was he was getting the greatest team that any first-round draft pick, first pick has ever gotten. So we'll see what happens. Who do we got this week? I'm afraid. Are we playing St. Juliana's? Are we playing somebody easy?
I wish we were playing St. Juliana. We're playing the Green Bay Packers. Oh, my God.
All right, let's get on to the next one.
All right. So, yeah, exactly. Our next segment is called
Say What?
All right. Say what? I got a bunch of them.
I love it, Mike.
Dan Orlovsky shows 4 guys being covered. And Dan Orlovsky played 15 games of quarterback, so he's his own worst enemy. He said there's nobody open. Well, first of all, Swift was open running to his left, so I let Dan know.
Good.
You want him to hold the ball? Oh, yeah, I always talk. You want him to hold the ball and not throw the ball away or throw it to Swift. So I just say, he doesn't answer me. About 20 minutes later, another video comes up. He's slowing his back, going back the 5 yards. The receivers aren't in their sets. He doesn't throw the ball away. He holds the ball too long. He basically says what I told him. Because they're national guys that basically Greenberg and Rex Ryan said the Jets would go to the Super Bowl, and Orlovsky said they were serious contenders. So do me a favor, folks. Listen to me and Eldo more than them. Okay.
Listen to Mike more.
Yeah, listen to me and Eldo. I say on the beginning, the Bears might finish third. I was wrong. They're going to finish probably last. Kyle Brandt, who I like.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. 45 years old. Big kid. I was watching him today. I never hardly watched the NFL Network. I turned it on because I wanted to see what everybody's saying because I'm different than other years. I'm preparing for the show this year. No. And Raul Jewelers, thank you for the payment. We appreciate you guys so much. We might as well do the Raul Jewelers now because my God, I may have to go buy something after they took care of us. I love you so much. Raul Jewelers is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that place. Look how wonderful it is. 3001 Barrington Rd and Hoffman Estates. You drive down Barrington Road, you can actually see there's like a light. It looks like a UFO landed. No, it's the place because the diamonds are sparkling from all over.
That's right.
Yeah, you just go to Hoffman Estates, Barrington Road. That's Raul Jewelers, where you can see the sparkles from miles away. Go say hi to Brad.
Yeah,
Kyle Brandt, good guy. From what I saw, 45 years old. I looked him up because he said his dad's 80, and basically Kyle, I'm 72, and he said his dad shut off the TV in the first quarter. I didn't, because this is my job. I got to know what's going on. But I felt like it. I did flip around and see some other things during commercials, but I always came back. But Kyle said that Bear fans have gone from angry after the Washington game to the last game, pissed off at the team, to this game, we're accepting it. Then I don't think you accept something when half the stadium walks out in the second quarter and your dad shuts the game off, Kyle, in the first quarter.
Yeah.
But I would say this, and Kyle and I got something. I studied acting under David Mamet, and Kyle was an actor too. Apparently things didn't work out for either of us because we're here. Okay. We're not doing Wanted Dead or Alive together. So, but I study, but I will tell you this, Kyle, we don't accept anything. So you're wrong about that.
Absolutely.
We don't. When Wannstedt was coach, we didn't fill up the stadium the last 2-3 years. We don't accept anything. Accepts it. And then I heard Kyle say this. He said he never is a guy that would suggest any coach be fired. Well, yeah, because you'd be fired. You work for the NFL Network. And if you said it enough, somebody would be pissed with enough power. Believe me. And I believe him. He doesn't want to see anybody get fired.
Right.
But if somebody should, you should be allowed to say it.
Absolutely.
You should be allowed if you see something wrong. The bottom line. And you grew up in Lincolnshire, so you should know better to know that we would accept any kind of crap like this. I've been on the air since 1992, kid, and you know it because you're from this area. I never took any of that crap about the way that they play. The bottom line is I do understand where you're coming from. You did criticize the whole Bear team, including the quarterback. I think he's an excellent analyst, but don't ever think Bear fans are accepting this. We basically have no choice, but we don't have to go to the stadium if we don't want to or watch him on TV. But your dad, wish him well. Me and him should get together because we've seen 2 championships, Kyle, in 152 years combined. Okay? So don't tell me about seriously, you're 45, you're a kid. You may not see another championship till you're in your 70s. Okay?
Or ever.
Ask me. I was in my 30s. Okay? And I didn't see one till I was in my, after the Bears, I'm not going to see one. If your dad and I live to be 100, we might get in. Okay? Also, Brad Biggs. He had an article last week. I don't know if you saw this, Aldo.
Mm-hmm.
That now he's found out because he assumed that Eberflus only had a contract till 2025. I was told and assumed it was 2025, but I'm finding out it's 2026. Well, who told you? Who made you assume that? Was it Poles? Was it the financial officer? Who told you? That's all you have to do. Or did you leak that? Did you put out that story because you thought maybe this past Sunday Jay Glazer might have it? Because you just suffered one setback, you guys over there. When he got you, I don't know if you were even allowed on the field. Why aren't the Bear writers even allowed on the practice field? Like the Bears are hiding something. The Bear writers should always be allowed the media on the practice field and for the whole practice. Dave Wannstedt. I did not know this, Aldo. He's probably the most savvy guy I've ever met. You know why?
Why?
Because he's a Bear analyst. That's why. He was 8-20. Wait, he is savvy as hell. And I'll tell you, you know why? He was 8-24 the last 2 years, and he's telling people how it should be.
That's hilarious.
8-24. He was 4-12 his last 2 years. And the reason I bring this up, I like Dave.
Yeah,
I think his agent, I believe, is Brian Harlan. You guys have done a tremendous job. He's a Ditka impersonator without the record, basically. He's 8-24 his last 2 years.
Wow.
So this is my point. Why do people think Eberflus is going anywhere? If you kept Wannstedt for 2 years at 4-12.
Well, this is Eberflus's third year. There's got to be an expiration date for this problem.
I went like this. I saw it. I went, whoa! You gotta get safety, the hits. The guy couldn't win a game, and he's out there pontificating. I love him.
That's
Herman
great.
DeFalco picked the over 8.5. I'll try to coddle. I'll try to reassure him that everything's going to be. Where's Bill Polian? Anybody know? The guy who wanted his two little sons.
He and Virginia are dating, I think.
Virginia's saying, "Get the covered wagon out. We're going partying." Polian, no good. Doing my and I want to credit the San Francisco 49ers for sticking by their guy, Nick Bosa. They all did a little dance yesterday during the game. The defense. In fact, our good friend Leonard Floyd did the dance. So, and we all know what we're talking about. I don't want to get into it, but I do know this. I know the feeling in 2020. My guy lost the election, and the Bears lost that week 19-13.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to tell my friends, and a lot of them are very close to me, including my buddy. I felt for you guys, because between the election and this Bear game, there's got to be a hangman's noose somewhere in the area. My God.
Greg Gabriel told me that you really had a rough week.
Oh, my God. I'm not saying that I care about you, but I must have thought about you 25 times on election night. I'm not kidding. And
I would talk about clicking around.
My God. I heard you came in. I heard you went to the hardware store. Do you have a guillotine?
That's right. Can you sharpen it up first before I take it home?
We'll be all right. We always are. You know, I made it through all the presidents, which is a miracle. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen. So is Aldo. We'll be okay. Believe me, we're doing fine. But there's nothing we can do about anything. We just do the best that we can, and you just go vote. I was proud I voted. You're proud you voted. Today's Veterans Day. I'm a veteran.
Oh,
here's what I'm going to say. Can I put a political thing in? To the Colombian students today.
Mm-hmm.
I almost went to Vietnam, and I lost 57,000 fellow patriot soldiers of all makes, creeds, and colors, religions. And for you people to have an anti-veteran protesting, that's stepping over the line big time. I have no respect for that school. It's a sewer. Okay. And basically, if you can have your messages, but if it wasn't for the United States Armed Forces, okay, you wouldn't be here being able to do that. And you don't understand that, but you go to college. So I just want to say,
what school was that, Mike?
Columbia U in New York.
School. Okay.
Yeah, they're having a against me. What did I do to you? I was riding my bike, and then they said, "Here's a rifle. Go kill somebody." I love all these people. And I can look. I'm very, very independent. I am. I understand the abortion issue. I don't think it's the most important, but I understand it. Your body, your choice. Where was my body, my choice? On a plane to Fort Polk, Louisiana. Where was my voice, sir? They said, "Hey, guess what? They took me off my bike. I had to leave my job, flew me to Dallas, then flew me to Fort Polk 3 months after I got drafted, and I'm in 100-degree heat." And the guy goes, "Raise the rifle a little bit, Mike." I mean, come on. That's all I'm saying.
That's hilarious.
All right. My body, my choice. All right. Nobody, no choice for me. You're on a plane. We'll see you later. Hey, stay out of Da Nang. All right. Anyway. All right. It's time.
For anything.
Anything goes.
All right.
I'm having a time of my life today. I love Aldo.
I love this show.
Oh, God. Let me get the scores up. NFL scoreboard, ESPN.com.
The rest of this show is brought to you by Rowell Jewelers, and you can see on the screen that they're located at 3001 Barrington Road in Hoffman Estates, and you can give them a call at 847-765-3000.
You almost got through that. I love you.
Yeah. I'm out of practice.
We got to be tired, huh?
Yeah, well, I am. I know that. And then I just want to let people know that Rowell Jewelers can be found online, and it's RAHLjewelers.com. So you need to go over there if you're going to buy something special.
Thanks for buying time for me.
Yeah.
All right, kid, you ready?
I am ready, my man.
right, the Ravens win 35-34. By the way, for the people that think you need an offensive line if you're a quarterback, Joe Burrows has been sacked 170 times in 5 years. And he's been to a Super Bowl, and he put up 34 points yesterday. They lost the game because they don't have any defense. But he's figured it out. That's what a quarterback's got to do. They lose 35-34. Panthers win 20-17. Bryce Young coming back from the dead a little bit, beating the Giants. Daniel Jones can't play, folks, and he's still around because they gave him big money, $140 million. So New York Giants, I don't hear nothing about the Giants on these other national shows, that they suck. New York got 2 teams that suck.
How about that? That's good.
How about that? You guys got 2 teams that suck. Mind your business. Patriots 19, Bears 3. We have already talked about that. The Bills 30, the Colts 20. You got Josh Allen. He covers up, a great quarterback covers up all your ills. Joe Flacco, he looked okay yesterday, but he looked like he was 39 also a couple times. Chiefs 16, the Broncos 14. They're trying to go undefeated, and they got a big chore ahead of them. I don't think they will. They're not as good as their record indicates, yet they keep winning because they have the greatest winner around. If you look at Patrick Holmes' stats, we were just talking about Mitch and other things. His stats aren't all that this year. They really aren't. He's not even up for MVP, yet they're 9-0 because the guy's a heck of a quarterback. He really is. He's the greatest. Him and Brady, he wants Brady's record. Unlike Tiger, who wanted Nicklaus's record, he couldn't get it done because of lack of self-discipline, because he screwed himself up. They're 18-15. Let me tell you something. Everybody on that Chief team knows Mahomes wants to win regardless. And they did it again yesterday, and they want to get 3 Super Bowls in a row. If he's going to break Brady's record, you can't waste a year. So this is going to be tough. Why doesn't anybody cover Travis Kelce? I don't understand. I just don't get that. The Saints 20, Falcons 17. The Saints come back from the dead. Cousins has a 6-14 now. The Saints are 3-7. That's weird that they only put up 17 points. They got some young outside receivers, but when you you got to put up more than 17 when you got a quarterback as good as Kirk Cousins.
So, Mike, the Saints win on the week after they fired their head coach.
Yeah.
I wonder what should happen in Chicago.
You want to fire? Does any coach want to take on the Packers, Detroit, and Minnesota coming up?
Yeah.
You know what? I think they're going to let them finish. And then I see what you do. I think they could bring in a guy now with this football team, which is not that good. It would just be like the New York Jets. They brought in an intern coach. Everybody's saying now it was a mistake that they fired Saleh. And you know what? It looks like it was because they can't get out of their way. The 49ers 23, the Buccaneers 20. I love Baker Mayfield. I said he'd cover the game because he's a competitor all the way to the end. And they lost. Steelers 28, Commanders 27. Russell Wilson. Aldo knows this. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. I wanted him for the Bears so bad. All I kept saying, and they knew all along, Fields did a tremendous job, but they knew he couldn't pass as well as Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson can scramble and run. They knew it. But you know what? People that don't know, like us, I wasn't saying anything, but why are you getting rid of him? Why you want Russell Wilson? Because he's better. That's what good teams do. The Bears would say, he's hot. Well, maybe keep him in. Keep him in. No, Mike Tomlin this year's done his best coaching job of all time.
He has. Mike, I agree with everything you said. I got a question for you, a real quick one.
Yeah.
If they were able to keep Russell Wilson and Justin Fields at Pittsburgh, or really any team, and Justin could study under Russell for the next 2-3 years, do you think he would be a better quarterback?
Yes. And you know what else I'd like to see him do? Put Russell Wilson and Justin in the backfield. The same backfield.
Yes.
Pitch it out to Russell Wilson. To Justin. He can either fake he's passing and run or throw the ball. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see the two of the guys together. They've done that before. New Orleans did it with Breeze, and who was the other guy, the white kid that played for him, the wide receiver? I forget his name.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah. And so they've done that. They've done that with Stafford and sometimes Cooper Kupp. or another pass. I'd love to see Fields back there. I think Fields did a great job. I think Fields is better than Caleb because Caleb Williams can't run like Fields.
Well,
Fields
at the end of last season, you said the Bears should keep Fields and not draft Caleb.
I did, and they never do what I do, and then I get mad.
That's the story of our lives.
I love Justin Fields as his competitiveness. I've always said he's tough. Caleb Williams can't run like him. Caleb Williams and Justin Fields threw the ball better this year than Caleb Williams has. He's only had 8 games. Hence the problem. You don't hand a quarterback the keys to a car. Maybe you let him sit. And are they afraid to put Bajan in? I don't know. Are they afraid to see what he might do? Vikings 12, Jaguars 7, Chargers 27, 17, Jim Harbaugh. It's just simple. Eagles 34, Cowboys 6. Dion, Rex, I wanted Dion for the Bears, so you're late, but you know what? It was a good call by Rex Ryan. Dallas would be perfect for him, but he's the king of Colorado right now, and he's doing a good job. And his kid is great, and Hunter is great. A two-way player. I don't know if he could do it in the NFL, but he could do it sometimes. He doesn't have to play the whole game. Eagles 34, just Cowboys 6. So Cardinals 31 to Jets 6, and the worst deal in history.
Unbelievable.
Almost as bad as Deshaun Watson's. Aaron Rodgers can't play no more. Had a bad Achilles. His career ended that night.
But you're absolutely right.
His career ended that night. He has no mobility, can't throw the ball. He worked his ass off because he's got 50 mil coming. And who wouldn't? But he's done. He looks like the guy. I mean, I don't know how he went from dark-haired, dashing Aaron Rodgers. He spends 1 year in New York. He looks like the guy that the kid from Home Alone was afraid of. That was his next door neighbor. How are you doing? Remember that guy?
That's so true, yes.
What happened to him? Looks like Gabby Hayes, for Christ's sake. My God. Namath still looks terrific. See what winning does for you? I'm Joe Namath, and I look younger than Aaron Rodgers. Thank God. And the Lions. The Lions do it again, 26-23. Yeah. You know what? I'm happy for the Lions. They went through the same hell we're going to go through. We are the Lions of the late of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's what we're going to be now. We're going to be them because they were miserable. And now everything looks good. I always like their uniforms, but they even look better now that they're winning, Yeah. And
Mike, I got something I need you to react to. Keith Lutz, who found you finally, after months and months of searching, Keith has found about you, Mike North Advantage here at the Barroom Network. He says, I'm done with the Bears for the rest of the season. Fortunately, I have the NFL package and able to watch my 2 Super Bowl future picks, Ravens and Vikings, for the rest of the season. So my question to you is, do you think there's a remote chance that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, could go to Virginia, wake her up and say, listen, this is a catastrophe. You have to do something. You're too important of a market.
Don't tell him to go screw himself. My father founded the league. Our father founded the league. My mother's dad. If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be making $44 million a year. Stick to your issues, your other issues. And I don't think he tells anybody what to do. How about Jerry Jones? How embarrassing is that? But somebody tried. Well, look what Dallas has done. Well, he has won Super Bowls, but it was many moons ago.
Yes.
But there's a lot of bad football teams. The Jets and the Giants suck. The Cowboys suck. These teams were supposed to be pretty good.
Major market teams, yeah.
So when the Bears are just picked on, like I heard today, we should do it. The Chicago people should do it. They're ignoring their teams because they embarrassed themselves. So they're going to pick on the Bears and the Cowboys and leave the Giants and the Jets out of it. And that's wrong in 100 different ways. By the way, what do we got for odds?
What do we got for odds? All right, let me see. I got a banner up here with Dolphins versus the Rams.
Right now, I can't. My nose. Right. I love it.
Hold on. I spent an hour on this graphic.
I already got the pick. This is what I do. Over 48.5 and the Dolphins plus 2.5. The Rams have been pretty damn fortunate. And I really, when I see Matthew Stafford I don't know how he didn't win more there with Calvin Johnson, these guys at Detroit. That's the puzzlement of life because he's still a very good quarterback.
Yeah. So again, you like the Rams -2.5 and the over into
Rams. No, I like the Dolphins +2.5 and the over
Gotcha.
at 48.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gotcha.
Apologize. Yeah.
Hey, hopefully
Is right.
2-0, 1-1, whatever. Rob Jewelers. Hey,
They're the absolute best.
see how I'm wearing my shirts tighter now, so my guns come out.
Yeah,
that?
somebody was commenting that in the chat room.
But no,
saying that the guns are flashing.
I wore this when I was 13. So anyway.
All right. For Mike North and the great people over at Raw Jewelers and Hoffman Estates, my name is Aldo Gandia. We'll see you here next week after another loss by the Chicago Bears. Oh, where's my clothes?
That's all right. Take your time.
Oh, take my time. I got a close here somewhere. It says advantage close. There we go.